We are live, gentlemen.
Howdy, howdy.
What's
So
going
Manny
on?
and Bam.
Hey, Joshua.
What's up, Joshua?
Josher.
What's up, Brent
Josh.
Allen Miller?
The Josh.
Is that too loud
And the
still or what?
yo-yo. And the yo-yo.
Good evening, everybody. Who's here? No, nobody's here yet. Not too many.
Shonda's here.
Shonda, who are you? I went to put food out for the stray cat. The skunk was waiting. Uh-oh.
That sucks.
Hope it didn't spray you.
Yeah, because then you need a truckload of tomato juice.
Hey, Marty. Welcome tonight. The tremendous trio. Give it a couple more minutes. See who else trickles in here.
Just remember, if anybody asks, I'm the pretty one.
Oh, that's why I put you down there at the bottom there. Single yourself out.
No comment.
Yeah, if the skunk sprayed, I would not be watching. I guess it's pretty nasty.
We appreciate that.
Thank God this isn't smell-o-vision.
Right?
Hey, Marty, what's on the agenda for today? We got a couple things on the agenda.
What's not on the agenda for tonight? That'd probably be the shorter list.
Yeah, what's not on the agenda? We got quite a bunch of things tonight. Simply marvelous, Bam.
I love my Shonda.
Yo,
I used
BT.
to work with a girl named Shonda in Cincinnati. She was phenomenal. God, did I love that girl.
Awesome, BT. We'll take them. You are worth that and a bunch more, too.
And a bag of chips.
All that in a bag of chips, yeah.
It's supposed to be a ho-ho.
And a ho-ho. I'll throw in the ho-ho
Oh,
for
that's
free.
me. I'm the ho.
Yeah, we got a few things tonight. We've got the ladies from AOBE. You're going to stop by for a few minutes. We just want to have a little short, brief discussion on what the Brownsville Independent School District Board was trying to pull yesterday.
What are they not trying to pull, Manny?
They're always pulling something. They're trying.
The heifers.
Yeah, it was. Well, we'll get to that in a little bit later. So we'll have Ida and Madi and Vero, and they'll be here in, I don't know, about another 15 or 20 minutes or so. Figure we need to catch up on what we need to discuss. Abel, what up, though? Thanks for stopping by. And a couple of things on the agenda. Josh, today, how are you doing? Feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm doing better.
How many more days of that you got antibiotics you got to take?
I go back to the doctor on Monday, so hopefully that's it, but we'll see.
All right, that's good. But so far, you're feeling good?
Yeah.
Bam, what about you? Feeling any better today?
Oh, I feel fucking phenomenal.
Are your privates still tingling down there or what?
Oh, they haven't tingled in a while. I haven't found anything worth tingling for.
Well, you said your parts are falling asleep or something, so
they used to on the rare occasion. It's not like a daily, hourly, minutely thing. It's like very sporadic. But you can always make your front bump tingle when you want to. But I haven't found anything to make it worth tingle for it. Besides, it's just more plumbing that needs to be maintained. And at my age, fuck the plumbing.
Shanta, we were talking about this the other night, so I didn't just.
No, he pulled it out of thin
random
air.
comment.
He pulled it out of thin air.
Man, he's infatuated with my front bump, Shonda. Don't let him lie to you.
Yeah, he was having some minor issues, so we just want to make sure that's singly. Yeah, it's so I don't have to use another word.
We appreciate that.
Bam! I'm glad everything's working for you down there, buddy.
Well, I do what I do because it's what I do.
So anyway, I decided to play some house music, just a little bit of that this morning. I was listening to it earlier this morning, and got, I don't know, set in the mood for that. Kind of listened to that all day while I was doing work here. I don't miss your shows, even those shows. Yeah, we get a little wacky at night sometimes. So, a couple things going on in the news today. Where do we start? Where do you want to start?
You talking to me or Bam Bam?
Pop goes the weasel. That's what I heard. Bam, you got anything for us, or should we jump into what we got?
Well, I got a couple of things, and one of them's my best friend in the world, and the other one's this guy out in California who used to be state's attorney over there in San Francisco. Now I guess he's being inaugurated to be the state's attorney in L.A. County, and evidently he's just shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's beyond me how you can get a promotion like that, and your record is just like pure shit. I don't get it.
Okay, so
and then you got my best friend Nancy
Pelosi sticking her foot in her mouth again.
Mind about this stimulus package. She's very wishy-washy, flippy-floppy. First, she wants to. They've agreed on $300 a week for 4 months on the unemployment side, and then we cut that, and we're going to go. Oh, we're going to send everybody a stimulus check of $600 if you're single, $1,200 if you're a couple. Okay, well, First off, I'd rather have the $300 a month or a week for 4 months versus the $600, because I mean that's a little bit of money that you're giving us to live on. I mean, you can kiss my ass on it. I mean, it does nothing for absolutely anybody, but I guess it's better than nothing. But it's not going to help you, stay in your apartment or your house, or keep the bank from repoing your car or whatnot. But I mean, it's just, get down off the cross. Somebody else needs the wood, bitch. I mean, come on.
Yeah. That 12 or 1,500, whatever it was, they were doing over the summer. That was nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Joe.
What's up, Joe?
Hi, Joe. Glad you're here. You guys haven't met Joe in person yet, right? Personally, or did Josh? Have you met her yet?
I don't think so.
I have not, but she's got my favorite color on. It looks like a red dress or a red blouse.
She wears it well. I'm just going to leave that right there. How's that?
One of my favorite colors.
Pelosi, I would gladly take a charge for just one good punch.
Shunny, your woman after my own heart.
Her dentures would go flying off. True words were never spoken.
Oh, sweet
too, Sean, to her and some others. Man, we need to. Okay, I don't want to get in trouble. I'll say, but we could come up with a
Pelosi night
with a short list on who we'd want to smack upside the head.
Oh, come on! Where's your sense of adventure?
I'd try that for one night in jail for some of these people. Some dudes up there. Oh, that's the other guy. I'll look that up in a minute too, Mr. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Sean, I was watching classic vintage Christmas movies last night on TCM. I think you're my spirit animal. That's awesome. Old school for sure. Yeah, there's well, let's get to this real quick. Here, let me place this up here. We're talking about what's going on, what's happening to Facebook today. What's happening to Facebook today, Josh?
The Trade Commission calling for a breakup, saying they're too big of a monopoly on the communications industry. So they're seeking. They filed a suit to force Facebook to sell off Instagram and WhatsApp to different entities.
Yeah, so they want to break it up, but they don't want to break it up. They want to break it up. They want to, exactly what you said, sell off some of the other companies. They're making it impossible for anybody to compete because they just keep purchasing.
So instead of my bell, it's my book.
Yeah,
exactly.
Essentially,
exactly.
Because what they did is they acquired Instagram and WhatsApp, and then they're controlling the marketplace through those acquisitions.
I had no idea they owned Instagram as well.
Yeah,
and WhatsApp also.
That's something I don't know what that is.
I think they use Skype. They bought out Skype, and Skype was the basis for their phone messaging system or their video messaging through Messenger.
Skype, man, that's something that hasn't been used in quite a while. Anybody even use Skype anymore now that they've got? I mean, Facebook has got the video call. iPhones, Apple's got the FaceTime video. And everybody's doing Zoom or whatever else they're using. Does anybody even Skype anymore?
I don't think they call it Skype, Manny. I think they use the application, but it's been bought out, and so it's used, but it's just used. Like I said, Facebook acquired Skype, and they imported it into Messenger to use as the system.
So what happens is every time there's a competitor, because at one point Instagram was a competitor to Facebook.
Correct.
And what did they do? Let's eliminate the competition, and they just bought them out.
Right.
Same thing happened to WhatsApp. And so they're owning all these businesses. They are owning all these businesses, and then they are putting such strict restrictions on what anybody can do on there.
Right.
And the great thing is that this isn't just one state doing this. I believe 48 states are in on this. Yeah, there it is. Attorney generals from 48 states and territories said that they're filing their own lawsuit against Facebook, reflecting the broad and bipartisan concern about how much power Facebook and its CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, have accumulated on the internet. I mean, they kind of think they own the place. So not necessarily break it up as to take it apart internally, but kind of a little control of how much control they've got over the internet.
Sounds like somebody's getting too big for his britches.
Yeah, it's about time somebody tried to break up that monopoly. I mean, it's only going to get bigger. What's the next thing they're going to? Are they trying to buy whatever's happening with TikTok? I'm sure they're trying to get in on that also, unless they got their own version of that. The censorship is strong on Facebook. Yes, it is. I got trouble last week because of my comment. Because my comment didn't meet their community standards. Yeah, I've been there too.
You were in Facebook jail, weren't you, Manny?
I was in Facebook jail for 24 hours. And then I got warning.
I can actually say I've never been to Facebook jail, but my brother-in-law is in there every month.
Yeah, Skype is still around, believe it or not. Ray, I use anymeeting.com. Definitely more professional system. Any Meeting. I haven't heard of that one. I got to check that out just to see. Yeah, Skype was still around. Gee, is Cali one? I'll bet it's not. How much you want to bet it's not? What were they? Skype for Business? Yeah, okay. So I got in trouble from Facebook for posting a video of monkeys that were eating something. They were feeding them something, and some monkeys didn't want to share, and they were being mean. I think they were little baboons, and everybody was picking off this barrel, and one baboon wasn't being nice. He would grab 3 or 4 items, and he'd start hitting the other monkeys in the head or in the face or something. So I got banned for posting violent content.
In the animal world, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely. Right.
I'm not a fan of the censorship, and China is really bad. I'll never forget and Tokyo too, or Japan. I'll never forget the first time I went to Japan and I went to Google something, and my Google was shut down. I couldn't fucking Google anything.
Oh, great. Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah, in China, it's even worse than Japan. I mean, at least in Japan, you can Google, or not Japan. Yeah, Japan, you can Google some things, but a lot of it's turned off. But in China, Google doesn't work at all.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Google is too big. Yeah, Google is a ginormous company. Running a little late coming in from the Alamo show. Hey, Maggie, thanks to be here. We've got Ida and Vero in the wings here. We're about to pop them up in just a second. Hi, Cynthia. Hilda, thanks for being here tonight. Yeah, it is ridiculous. All right, here we go. Hello, ladies.
Good evening. How are y'all?
Good evening. How are you?
How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Doing good.
After a long day of work, and now you got to get on the show at 10:00. Damn it, Manny.
I know.
What were you thinking, Manny? What were you thinking?
Right?
We're not
For those
used to
of
the
you,
very late hours.
Yeah, well, you guys are hardworking like all the time anyway. So even if you weren't here, you'd still be up doing something, some kind of work. I bet.
Exactly.
True.
So we'll try to keep it short.
True. I
We're not
just got off a call.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, we won't keep you long. We just want to discuss a little about what happened last night. I'm Manny. You already know that. Josh, we got Josh up here in the middle. And we've got my friend from Chicago. His name is Bam. He's just
Hi,
our
ladies.
he's our
Hi.
random
evening.
guest, very outspoken, and people like him, so I keep bringing him back. Bam, don't hold back. I know you don't know a lot what's going on here, but you'll find out shortly. So you guys got a nice little win yesterday, huh? For all of us
We sure did.
with BISD. What happened? Talk to us. What were they trying to pull anyway?
Well, I think, we've made it clear from the beginning with this pandemic that we're trying to practice everything that we can with putting safety first. So since the pandemic has started, we've spoken at the board meetings, but virtually. We requested for the opportunity to speak up, relate our concerns from our members to the school board and make it public there. But we wanted to do that and show that we can continue to do things, but with safety in mind. So they did agree to let us do virtual public comments, and we've been the only association that's been doing that. Now the other associations choose to go and be there in person. We are not, because we have to, practice what we're preaching. I mean, we're screaming at the, that we have to do that. So anyway, it's been clear how AOBE has spoken up and how we feel about the leadership skills of Dr. Gutierrez. We've never hidden that. Which is why we have the petition for a vote of no confidence, which we plan to ask this current new school board to put on an agenda for discussion. And so we plan to do that. And Dr. Gutierrez is not too happy with us because I guess we don't agree on everything that he does.
Surprise.
Or does not do. And but it's not our job to be friendly with him or be liked by him, and it's nothing personal. It's just the decisions that he makes as superintendent. And with the pandemic going on, now more than ever, it's important to speak up with these issues that are going on. Mm-hmm. So with all of that being said, when they said that yesterday after we spoke, I didn't know if to laugh or what, because I'm like, really, guys? Do we have to be that obvious on who this is for? Right. But I just thought it was, it was amazing that some of the board members did speak up, and they told Eddie right away, you know what, this item was to be discussed. It has not been approved yet to remove the virtual opportunity of public comments. So with that, right away we started right there and then started texting the board members, the rest of the board members, and we messaged some of our leaders, some of our ARs, what we call ARs, association reps, to start reaching out right away on the importance of leaving this on, for the ability to speak up virtually, which is with safety in mind first. And
now, when you say right away, I saw Vito, doing that. You guys are talking about on the spot immediately, right?
Oh yeah, like as soon as the statement was made, the texts were being sent. And the texts were sent simultaneously from Ida, myself, Micaela, out to our leaders, out to the board members.
Yeah.
I mean, it was literally like it was within seconds, like, this is not happening.
See, that's what you call action.
Exactly. Yeah, and some of the board members responded right away. Some responded later during the rest of the meeting, and we'll be upfront on the ones who said that they were supportive. Were Daniela Lopez. She says, I am in support of keeping the virtual public comments. Denise also responded. Prissy Tipton responded. And who else? Minerva Peña responded. And I don't know if Jessica
Tipton didn't only respond. She was the one that also kind of like, hold on here, like, this still hasn't been discussed. It's on page blah 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 on the agenda for us to discuss. We can't. And that she was the one that did that. So, you know, she didn't only respond to us right away. She was the one that kind of put a halt on it and was like, no, it's still an item that needs to be discussed on the agenda.
And so everybody knows, I mean, Eddie was very clear. It was obvious he was totally against this, and he was trying to cut you guys down. He was trying to cut everybody down, right?
Yeah.
And that's really sad, because one of the things that we've already started having conversations with this new board, and in those conversations we have mentioned about the importance of hearing from their constituents. You know, you want to stay connected with them, with what's going on. You know, stop believing these one-sided stories from administration or the superintendent. It's important to be hearing from the community, from the employees, and things like that. And Absolutely. We want to encourage people to come in and speak under public comments. So we've had that conversation already with them about how they continue to try to intimidate the speakers, how certain speakers get cut off always. Yeah. Some do not. And but, you know, it's okay. I mean, I don't mind. It doesn't bother me or intimidate me, but it would discourage someone else maybe who is barely starting to get, a little bit involved. And, right. And that's what, it's really sad. They shouldn't be doing things like that, in my opinion.
Because why would you want to silence public comment?
Isn't it against state law to do that? Like, isn't it in the open meetings record, Ida?
They're able to. They do not have to provide the virtual capability. They do have to provide the ability to speak and all those rules. They do have to provide that. But as long as they're providing that, they're being compliant with that.
I thought Terry Canales from the McAllen area, like last legislative session, presented a bill to open it up virtually, but I could be mistaken.
Yeah, they told me that as long as that they're providing it does not have to be virtual. So it could be. I mean, we tried to reach out to everybody possible, even the attorney, to, hey, think about this. I mean, what is it that we're trying to accomplish here? To silence, the voices of your community and employees? I just don't understand.
It's not only that. We're going to come back to, we would have come back to a face-to-face meeting if they had taken away the virtual after a 2-week vacation of people, are not going to be following the recommendations for safety. And, if we're being very honest, how many times do you see anybody go up and sanitize the stand or the podium? How many times do you see anybody spray the microphone? All of them take off their mask to speak into the microphone.
The majority of them. Some left it on.
Some left it on. But if I would have had to go in, I would have gone with a bottle of Lysol, gloves. I would have sanitized the whole stand.
Yeah.
I would have sanitized the microphone. I don't care. And you don't start my time until I'm speaking. So
I was about to say.
I'm going to take my time and sanitize.
So my question is, okay, in all fairness, I have not been to that room where your meeting is at. How large is that room? I mean, wouldn't it be safer just to not use a microphone and just speak to the free air?
I think the microphone is more for I think the microphone is more for the live feed, more than it is for the room.
Yeah.
I don't know how they would fix that to make it because you know how it's live on YouTube. So I think it's more for that than anything else because it's really not that big of a room, and you could speak loud enough. It would just be a matter of it being caught for the YouTube live.
Okay, well that makes sense. Just wondering if maybe I don't know someone transcribing might be a good idea. That way you can have the subtitles on there at the bottom as they're but then you got to pay somebody to do that, right?
Yeah. And
so hang on, we have who we got surprise guests here. Where'd he go? I'm sorry. Okay, so this happened and he was obviously overruled. How did he react to this?
We're not sure. He had to announce the decision.
Say hello.
I'd like to have introductions because I don't recognize.
Well, up in the top left corner, we have Miss Ida from AOBE. And then over in the top right corner, we have Miss Vero from AOBE.
Those names.
And they're the two rock stars.
I've heard of that guy.
Those names sound familiar.
I've heard of that guy.
Yeah, he's the Kardashian of Brownsville.
Is that the guy that had that
I
big
love
sign
that.
by Whataburger? Yeah, I thought I saw his face over by Whataburger.
That guy, yeah, he gets around.
He gets around.
That's what they say.
He's like a used shoe.
A used shoe. So we're just talking about
something else, but I decided to keep it a little clean.
We're talking about the school board. Well, certain members anyway, trying to cancel the public comments, virtual public comments, right? Not
virtual.
Well, there are no other public comments, right?
Well,
Yeah. So.
What's amazing, and Carlos made mention of this. I was talking to Carlos a little bit earlier on it. The issue is that these individuals, little Eddie has served on different little wonky little boards and little committees, and doesn't understand that an elected board has to go by certain mandates that actually come from the state level. Because back in September the 1st of 2019, the state, thanks to State Representative Terry Canales out of Hidalgo County, they passed that new measure where public comment did not necessarily have to limit itself to only to speak about items that were on the agenda. We have the freedom to speak about anything we want, even open criticism of any board member present or past, or even futuristic, if that be the case. So for little Eddie, it was just easy for him to say, I'm the president and these are the new rules. It doesn't work that way, little Eddie. And unfortunately for him, it was one of those new embarrassing moments for him where he had to eat his words, because not only did he want to circumvent the law, which stated that no, they can talk about anything they want, doesn't have to be on the agenda, but also wanted to limit the opportunity for individuals who were wanting to stay safe because of the situation that is at hand in regards to the pandemic, and opt not to include in the total number of individuals present, which was clearly over 100 individuals at the meeting on Tuesday, probably close to 200 individuals.
So, there was chairs outside the building.
So not to add on more people, some folks opt, hey, let's do it virtually, as has been the practice of every other board throughout the state of Texas.
That's right.
I mean, they're doing everything virtually. I mean, everyone other except this board, because they have a point to prove that they can do whatever they please, whenever they please, to hell with the community, to hell with law, to hell with protocol. And
So,
that's not going to fly.
Ida and Vero, in your opinion, what does that say to you that of all people, he did not know what the rules are or what the laws are and what he could and could not do, and he still attempted this? And then, of course, he makes himself look bad and has to, have egg on his face and come back and say, "Oh, well, I mean."
I don't know. I'm not really sure what month he came in last year and where he came in as far as where training was being offered for the board members. Like, I know they go into training as new board members. They have, and I'm sure all of that is gone over. I'm myself am a new president for my association, and so there's a lot of things that you have to study and learn, and you have to have been observing your leadership before you as guidance, right, as to what you're going to do. And I would tell Ida all the time, I'm nervous, I hope I don't do it wrong, but I study and I ask questions, and I always, in everything that I do, make sure that it is the best intention and that it is for the good of the majority. And so I don't rush into making statements or trying to say that because this is how I want it, because as a president, it's my responsibility and my duty to serve the people and to carry out their wishes, right?
And I imagine you're supposed to know certain things. I mean, you guys were talking about the other day about a no confidence vote, and this kind of
right. And so I studied our bylaws. We have bylaws as an association. I study our bylaws. I question. I email our state president with questions. I ask Ida questions. If I don't understand something, I'm not afraid to ask. I'm not afraid to reach out to previous leaders. You have to be willing to reach out and learn what is happening, and you have to study Robert's Rules of Order. You have to study the bylaws and the policies that the board has already set forth. Having served already on the BISD board, he should be already somewhat familiar.
Yeah, he should be well versed in these matters.
Right. So, I mean, I'm not saying you're supposed to have know everything by memory, obviously, right? But you should be, I don't know. That's just me. I'd rather be prepared and learn and ask questions and all that. And before I do something,
do your research, do homework.
Yeah. Let me interject if I may. Look, if it's okay with you, Ida, let me, guys, let me say this.
Where have you been?
It was the dumbest thing in the world to make little Eddie president, and it's nothing against little Eddie, man. It's not against his height, not against his little oxygen machine that he's still carrying around to this day. Nothing because of that, guys. Because again, my prayers go out to him. I hope he does well for his family as well. That he wants to portray this. I got a badge, I got a gun, I got the position. Now I can do whatever I want. It's just ridiculous. Look at, guys, go back into the decision-making process. The decision-making process of this board. It's something that Beto just mentioned. Am I going to be serving in a capacity that benefits my association as a whole? Look, guys, the right move would have been for Prissy or for Drew to become president of the BISD board. And y'all know that I don't give a rat's behind about either one of those. Drew is a piece of crap who is probably going to get indicted and go down because she was Sylvia's right-hand person. and Patricia Roca-Tipton was her left hand. Even so, even though I dislike these people because they're rats, they're corrupt, they're the worst individuals ever to be elected to politics here in Brazil besides Minerva. But let me tell you guys, they should have placed Prissy or Drew as president of the board because they would have a better idea of the workings of the board. Out of everyone that had gotten elected, and I'm excluding Minerva because Minerva has been there for 12 years, she still doesn't know what the hell she's doing out there. And wasn't on the board back then when they voted Little Eddie as president. Marisa was. And again, I hold this against Marisa as well. And Marisa, I love Marisa. She's a friend of mine. But she should never have voted for Little Eddie. Jessica Gonzalez should never have voted for Little Eddie. And the other two puppets shouldn't have either. Prissy or Drew should have taken the helm as president until Little Eddie was well-versed and prepared in regards to what the position entitled. He had no clue. Guys, going out there and making a decision based on his sentiment without actually having that conversation with the rest of the board or with legal counsel to find out if he could actually do what he put out there is a mistake. And it's just the first of many, guys. But again, he should have never been placed as president. And again, nothing against Little Eddie, nothing against Tattoo, nothing Le Plain, nothing against him. He should have never been placed as board president. Racist Drew should have been there, or a Rata Prissy Tipton should have been there. And stop laughing, Vero.
Let's get to this real quick. Hey, I didn't think to text. I emailed the board members and felt foolish afterward because they didn't vote through the motion. And there I was emailing them like you and said, and Vettel said, the second the words came out of his mouth. So,
but it's still good, at least that she took the effort, made the effort to email that, because they will now know, when they're going to make some crazy decision like this, they are going to know that people are going to speak up. And I think that's what made these people, think twice and say, okay, no, wait a minute, we're not going to do that. Because I can guarantee you, had no one texted or emailed or anything like that, it would have gone through. It would have happened.
Yeah.
So
Marty's question is, why is it that elected officials always try to shut constituents out? And that's an easy one to answer. I'll let one of you guys answer that. That's
but what would have happened? What would have happened? The Zoom or the other one?
Oh, they would have removed the virtual opportunity.
Yes, 100%. I agree with Ida. Guys, they could not limit the speech of individuals going up to public comment in regards to speaking on anything other than what's on the agenda. That is law. That is law. Now, why is it that elected officials always try to shut out? Because it's very, very easy, guys. Yep. Because they do not want individuals to have an idea in regards to what is truly going on in the district. Guys, look at what we already know what's going on in the district. We all know what's going on in the district. We all know because of Sylvia Atkinson's trial. We know where Minerva's pocket used to be. Hand used to be. It used to be in Sylvia's little pocket. Guys, we know for a fact that Drew Brown and Prissy Roca-Tipton were yes people for Sylvia Atkinson as well. So they tried to do their best to limit everything from the people out there who are actually going to put 2 and 2 together to actually add up to 4. As amazing as that may sound, because I'm so horrible at math, I actually got that right. But let me tell you guys, the more we do not live in a community that thrives on transparency, no matter how much they constantly say it. Oh, we're transparent. We're transparent. It is not true. It is not true. They try to shut you out because they don't think that you are important, that you matter. The only ideas, the only opinions that matter are their own. And that is why it has been such a big old mess up. And look, and I'll say this very, very proudly. Guys, they do exactly the opposite of what I say. It's like they're out there watching me, listening to me, to try and find something to say, like, we're going to do the opposite of what Erasmo wants. And it just feels that way. Because I'm handsome and totally not fat.
Yes. That's exactly why. I do want to
Absolutely.
add. Let me piggyback off of Erasmo's comment.
What was that?
So I also feel like they don't think we know any better. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but we may be an all-female led organization. That does not mean we're ignorant, and that does not mean that we are not going to be strong and ballsy. We're not going to be backing down.
Yeah, I would hope that that's not what they would think.
I think I actually believe that that's what they think, and I think that they think we don't know any better and that we don't research, and they are apparently are not aware that we have attorneys at the state level, we have lobbyists at the state level, we get all this information at the state level coming trickling down to us locally, well, to all of our locals in the state. I mean, we get all the information from TEA. We have the documentation. We have, the proof. And when we meet with the board members and discuss with the board members, we send them what's in writing from TEA.
So, what do you think happened? Why was it that he was just elected? I mean, it seemed like do you think it was really necessarily voluntarily? Oh yeah, it's a great idea. Let's put him in there. Versus someone else.
As president, you mean?
Yeah.
I'll say it, guys. Look again. It's the Erasmo thing. Maybe I'm just full of myself, but really, it's just to prove a point that he is worthy of the position, that he deserves to be there. And look, and I'll say this, guys. I don't know where I come up with the crap that I say sometimes, but some of those names, they stick. Like La Pingüina, goodness gracious, doesn't she look like the damn penguin from Batman movie? Goodness gracious, alive. She waddles her way back and forth. She looks like a damn penguin. Right? She looks like a damn penguin, right? You're gonna smile. You're gonna laugh, guys. What I'm trying to say is, he has this complex, guys. Because people on the board would tell me, like, man, you really are getting to this guy, because this guy is really like showing the pictures that you put up of him, which I did regularly. Damn little Eddie, a little tattoo. I mean, we replaced the picture that he had on his sign with tattoo, dressed up as a vaquero, as a little vaquerito with the little boots. And it really got to. I put a little picture of him with one of my cookies. So it was like embedded in his head. And I mean, he was actually going out there.
Oh, Lord.
I'm little Eddie with my little hands and my little feet, and I go about telling big lies. And I'm not joking. He literally would do that. So it was just to prove a point that he wasn't little Eddie anymore. Now he's the president of the board. Let me tell you, little Eddie, if you're watching this.
But who the idea was that, you think?
About little Eddie?
Yeah.
Me?
Why, like you said, why not Parisi, or why not someone else?
Because
he means the board, the president.
Yes.
because they were trying to prove a point that he wasn't little Eddie anymore.
Who was trying to prove a point?
He was Big Eddie now. He was now the president of the board. I mean,
was he does he go in there and go, hey guys, I want to be the president? And everybody's like, okay.
Right. Look at the bunch. Is
that when he had a Napoleon complex moment, or
big time? But look at the guys that they have on there. They got Daniela. Daniela is dumb as dirt. They got Denise. Denise is dumb as dirt. They got Jessica. That's dumber than dirt. I mean, who else? I mean, she's an idiot. An idiot. An idiot. A full-blown idiot. Who are they going to put as president? Well, little Eddie was the only one that had some experience on the board. Although every single time he opened his mouth, he put his small little man foot in his mouth. I mean, the guy goes by his Oshkosh Bagosh to wear. Oshkosh Bagosh. Do y'all even know what Oshkosh Bagosh is?
Little kid clothes.
Oshkosh Bagosh are us.
Little kids' clothes. I'm not sure exactly, but I know it's not.
I don't know. Right now. Oshkosh Bagosh.
I used to buy it for my boys.
It's in the kid. Is that the kids section?
It's a kids' clothing line.
It's a complex, that he has, man. Little Eddie, let me say this, little Eddie. You're still little Eddie, man. You could have any title. You could carry a badge. You could carry a gun. I don't give a rat's behind, bro. You're still little Eddie because you got little hands, you got little feet, and you go around telling big lies. No little Eddie's around.
All righty then. Tell us how you really feel. But I get it. And that's no secret that you feel how you feel. And I did want to make the comment that he's talking possible indictments. It's just an opinion. We have no idea what's going to happen with anybody at all. We're not saying it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
But it's
against Drew Brown.
It's his opinion that's going to happen, and we'll have to see when that comes out.
Yeah, Manny's trying to put a disclaimer. Let me tell you, it's going to happen. Drew Brown is going to get indicted. Adela Garza is going to get indicted. I don't think that Prissy Roca Tipton is going to get indicted. I don't think she might. I don't think that Nerva Peña, as stupid as of an individual she is. But let me tell you all, folks, Drew Brown, and listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Drew Brown will be indicted. Adela Garza will be indicted.
The corruption and ignorance of this board will be the downfall of the school district. The only ones to suffer are the teachers and the students.
And the community as a whole. Juan Carlos is wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what's very difficult because, I mean, we don't know what's down the line. Yeah, no kidding. He holds all his feelings inside.
Yeah.
So hard to tell what Erasmo feels. But with all of this going on, I mean, you know, Erasmo saying, and Erasmo predicts a lot of things. And
Erasmo has he been wrong? Has Erasmo been wrong?
So, and
no. Manny, have I been wrong, Manny?
I don't know. I get the.
We need our research department to get on that, Erasmo.
He's been right on a lot of points. I'm not. You can't say he's been wrong.
Which one have I been wrong at? Ida, which one have I been wrong at? Vero?
We'd have to go look at a list.
No, I'll answer it. I have not been wrong in anything because, again, if I'm going to be saying it, and people in Brownsville need to know, if I'm going to be saying it is because I've checked it, I've confirmed it, I've lived it. And let me tell you, Drew Brown is so knees deep into that insurance mess that is BISD, guys. I know for a fact. I've seen the documents. I've spoken to the superintendents that we've had, guys. I've heard the words come straight out of her mouth in regards to what she tried to scheme in order to get the right people in order to get contracts here, contracts there, contracts everywhere. Guys, for a year and a half, I've been screaming my lungs out about Adela Garza. What a piece of crap she is. What a rata she is. And guess what? 3 days before the election day, the community found out because of the Sylvia Atkinson trial. It came out. And
it did come out there. Was it ever confirmed that she got arrested or she hasn't in custody or any of that?
Not confirmed. But Manny, the only news station, the only news media that covered it was Channel 5. It didn't get covered by Channel 4. We got two local here, Brownsville, Harlingen, 2 TV stations. Not a single one mentioned a peep about Adela Garza. Not a peep. Beep! The Brownsville Herald, nothing!
So, okay, let's go forward a little bit. Let's say certain indictments do happen. What happens to them on the board? Do they have to, is there a conviction needed for them to be removed, or how does that work?
As long as they're indicted, they're out.
There has to be a conviction.
Yeah, no.
There has to be a conviction. They can't.
No, you're wrong. Let me tell you, and I'll tell you why you're wrong, because remember, they tried to come after me for a removal without being convicted of a DWI. And they came after...
That was not the right way to do it, though.
No, and unfortunately, it's the way to. They came after Sylvia Atkinson for a removal before she was indicted, before she was convicted. Remember, I mean that was going on in the same process. You don't have to be convicted. Don't have to be convicted. You just have to be indicted. You just have to be able to prove wrongdoing.
I'm I'm going by because in Donna, when there was several board members that were indicted, they didn't get removed until they were convicted. So maybe it depends on the local policy, but I know in Donna they did stay on the board until some stepped down on their own, and but the others stayed on there until they were convicted.
Yeah, Cameron County.
I'm just going by what I've seen.
Cameron County is right, definitely. And yes, Maggie, you're right. I did say Trump was going to win, and I was wrong. Joe Biden won the election.
So the next scenario: fine, they're indicted, and two people are removed. Now we got empty spots.
No.
What happened? No.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Let me tell you what's going to happen. TA, and folks, let me tell you, and this might even happen before they get indicted. TEA is a hop, skip away. I'll tell you all that right now. TEA is knocking on BISD door like a madman, like a woman on speed. And let me tell you, I've met a lot of women on speed on La 14. And it's not pretty, guys. And
I'll take your word for that.
And let me say, guys, TEA is coming. And they're just waiting. They're just waiting for that one little slip. I'm telling you now, they're just waiting for that one little slip. And they're going to be shutting this crap down, lickety split. And what's going to happen is it's not to the point where they're going to replace with manager. No, they're going to take over. And let me tell you, that is going to be the biggest blessing for the district, because we don't only get rid of all these wonky piece of crap board members, but we also get rid of the board attorney.
And Vero, is that accurate? I mean, would they come and like take over versus, re-electing?
That's been done before. I mean, it is something that can happen, and I mean, a complaint has already been filed with TEA, so.
Several.
Unfortunately, it's a very it's a long process. But to be honest, in my opinion, I don't make predictions as good as Erasmo might, but I see that coming as well. I see that coming, but
that's pretty crappy that it would get to that point. We deserve better. We expect trust. Mm-hmm.
On that, it's gonna hurt BISD, and that's really sad that we'd have to go through that. But hey, what has to be done has to be done, and if it is, that TA comes in and takes over, then so be it. I mean, if you have nothing to worry about, then you have nothing to worry about. If you're doing your job right, and the ones who have to worry, they know who they are. So we'll see.
That situation happens, and I'll keep giving these scenarios. TEA comes in, takes over. They're like a permanent thing, or do they eventually appoint people, or try to rebuild a board so that they can exit?
It's kind of like a restructure is what it ends up being, but it also will open up investigations into different departments and different things like that. So it, like Erasmo said, I think it was Erasmo, it would be a blessing if that were to happen.
It will be a blessing. It will be a blessing, guys. And it's a very unfortunate situation, because it speaks real sad about a community. See, that's the only thing that hurts me, because what it really says is that a community cannot control their own people. They cannot control, they cannot elect the right individuals. They cannot hold them accountable. And it really speaks very, very poorly about the community. And that's what's very unfortunate. It hurts the community. I agree with Ida. It's a shame. But let me tell you, in this circumstance that we are in, guys, there is absolutely no leadership. And it doesn't only happen at there's no leadership on the board. There's no leadership at the city level either. There's no leadership at the county level. Really, guys, we are like a ship without a captain in the middle of a hurricane, a level 6, class 6 hurricane, guys.
This is a good question. Where has this happened already?
Actually, several places.
I believe Wilmer Hutchins up south of Dallas was taken over a few years ago. That's one I know off the top of my head, because I was living in Dallas at the time. And like Russell said, a few others.
Houston, I think, was on the verge, or they're still fighting, or they're appealing. But I think they took over part of Houston, one of those big old districts in Houston. And I think that was one of the most prevalent ones because they also threatened San Antonio. And I think they did actually take over.
There was one on the outskirts of San Antonio that got taken over as well. So they do different things. It depends. In Donna, they have a conservator there that has been there for going on 3 years.
Yes.
Because of all the violations that they were doing, and that you're paying for that person to be there in the district. So that comes out of local budget.
Local budget,
and that's top dollar there. And that person is going to remain in your district, overseeing every decision that is made until TEA says, then, okay, we can go ahead and remove the conservator, and now you have your district fully back. So that's not as extreme as being taken over, but also that does limit the decision making that happens at the local level. But then that's money that's going out the door. I mean, we have people that have enough PPE because according to Dr. Cantu, that's all that they're going to get. That's all the PPE they're getting right now because there's no more funding for that. So
well,
we don't have that extra money.
Let me tell you, it's the
That's
same.
incredible.
It's the same excuse that they've always used. There's no money. There's no money, but there's money for other things. And again, there's money for recounts. This should have never happened. There's money for hiring McShann out of Harlingen, $2,000 a month for 3 hours of work a month. That is a slap in the face to every single educator out there, every single staff member, every single student, every single parent out there. Because let me tell you guys, there's never any money for instruments. There's never any money for field trips. There's never any money for teacher advancements, teacher trainings, teacher moving
materials.
Oh yeah, the steps.
Nothing. There's no money for that. But then again, we're paying George McShann $2,000 a month for 3 hours of work a month. How does that make sense to anyone?
That's unreal that this is happening.
Is he the one that's going to make them a board of 8?
Yes.
I think that they are because they know that there is so much fear in the employees. They know that we go out and buy our own sanitizers and our own PPE and our own whatever because we're scared because there's nothing at school for us.
So we were talking about this. I was talking about this at Osmo yesterday. What happens if you guys if they get a blue flu? You know what the blue flu is?
Yeah.
Walkout day.
Kind of a personal, I'm sick, I don't feel good. Then all of a sudden, a lot of people are calling in sick. And they're not really sick, but they're trying to make a statement. Yeah. And if you get enough, staff or teachers doing that, I mean, is that going to make anything happen? Is there really no money for any PPE stuff, or is it just somewhere?
There is.
There is money.
There's money.
There is. Absolutely. They have, there's still money there. They have a healthy fund balance. I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's still enough to, get PPE that is needed. I mean, it's all about their priorities, and their priorities is not in safety. They have to shift that mentality of Gutierrez has that thing about, they have to get back into the classroom and it's all about that. No, they have to realize that we are now in this and we have to move and change with the times. Okay. We need to find an effective way to provide virtual instruction. instead of putting all your focus on just, oh, how am I going to get all my employees back into the workplace and the students and start forcing them to come back because they were failing or different things. These Saturday tutorials, he's making them do it face to face. That's not required by TEA. So why can't Saturday tutorials be done virtually? If he's saying he's only following the mandates of TEA, why can't Saturday tutorials be done virtually? Every teacher would want to participate in that, but some of them cannot because they don't have childcare on the weekends or whatever the case might be. So if you're really there trying to provide this opportunity for every child to receive tutorials, then hey, let's make it virtual. But no, he wants it face to face. Why? Because I say so. That's
always the response. That is always a response. There is not a rationale. There is not a rationale behind it. And what Maggie is saying, what Maria Magdalena is saying is fact. We received a box. It had 1 can of aerosol disinfectant spray. We had gloves, 3 cloth masks, face shield that you can't see through because it's super blurry. So you can't wear it anyway because you can't see your hand in front of you, and a roll of brown paper towels.
And let me say, guys,
wow,
it's embarrassing, Manny, that I have better PPE at my office than a teacher for the richest district south of San Antonio. And I am in my office. You've seen my office, Manny, by myself all day long. And I have better PPE at my office for me, myself alone.
And that's because people have donated for those who need it. Now, has anybody looked into, these big corporations donating? If there is truly no money in the budget, has anybody gone to 3M or Johnson & Johnson or whoever makes this stuff?
Well, they can't do that. Actually, there's a certain limit in regards to how much these school districts can go out there and ask for money without TEA and other state agencies who are actually funding the school district.
I mean, but even in emergency, this pandemic would seem like it's an emergency. It's not enough PPE around.
It's not an emergency situation. And let me say this: it's not an emergency situation because they have the money. The state has given them the money, Manny. The federal government has given them the money.
They've even been reimbursed. They've been reimbursed from expenses from last year. Exactly. I mean, like when the pandemic began.
What have they done with the money, Manny? That's the real question. What have you done with the money that the state, the feds, and you should already have in regards to, look, how much money has the district saved in regards to transportation, in regards to other expenses, Manny? Where's all that money? Because it costs to take kids back and forth to school. It costs an arm and a leg to get a bus to go to any little event. There's been no events.
At Osmo, we haven't been doing extended day.
We haven't been doing extended day. Where's all that extra money, Manny? Besides all that extra money, all the extra money the feds have been giving, all the extra money that the state has been giving, where's the money? Sylvia, get back the money!
And every time they force somebody to take the 14-day COVID leave, they get money for that too.
Yes. Where's that money, Manny? That's the question.
So
there's no transparency. There's no accountability. And you think this board, with these idiots, with Jessica Stupid Gonzalez, with Daniela Michael Kors Purse Lopez Valdez, with Denise, let me paint my hair purple or some other color so my roots won't show, Garza? You think these people, my hands are feet, my big lies, my feet are small, little Eddie? You think they're going to be asking the right questions in regards, where's the money? I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, Sylvia, get back the money! Have they even bothered to check what happened to the money?
Yeah, has there been a forensic audit at all?
No! We've been asking for, I was asking for one since I was on the board. We need an independent audit as to what every single department that Sylvia had influence on. Pero they don't want to have an audit because then there is going to be a paper trail. And let me tell you, folks.
So who can order an audit? I mean, can it be
The board?
The what?
Superintendent or the board?
It has to come from the top. So do you think that that's going to be ordered?
From within?
Superintendent of the board. Well, you see, that's the problem, Manny. Within is the superintendent.
Oh my goodness. And that'll never happen, obviously.
The within, and understand this, guys. Within is the superintendent and administration here. The board is outside because that's what the board function is. Mm-hmm. They are elected by the people to keep their eyes on administration. But when administration knows 10 times more than the board because they're a bunch of freaking idiots and they're only focused, talking about priorities that Ida was mentioning over here, their priorities are how the hell they're going to pocket a couple of dollars. That's their priority. I can prove that that's their priority. So at the end of the day, who loses? Look, Manny, very simple. Our students didn't get their instrument money now for 2 years. 2 years with zero instrument money, man. Zero.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, 8th, 7th grade, they pulled the band program, and I was devastated. I was completely devastated.
Manny, we paid $35 million, Manny, for a performing arts center. You were taxed. Every single individual out there that's listening, if you're from Brownsville, you were taxed $35 million for a performing arts center. It was put away.
And where's that money?
Where's that money? So do they still want to tell me that there's no money for proper PPE? No, but shut up. No, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. And then people go like, why is it Asma always yelling? Because I'm pissed off. I'm upset. Guys, they're screwing us left and right.
I totally can see how that is. Definitely it's frustrating. Juan Carlos has Ida or Vero is TVEA and BEST. Are they complicit in the board's incompetence? Has AOBE lodged any complaints with them? What anything can happen there?
You think?
Me? Thank you.
Sure.
Let's tackle this one because I can tackle the other.
I think we know how you feel on this one. I've even mentioned it to Dr. Gutierrez himself that maybe that's why he meets with them and not with us because they tend to agree with what he says and we do not. But like I mentioned earlier, we're not here to be his friend. We're here to do what's best for the members and speak up for the members. Now, as far as have we filed anything against TEA? We are lobbying against all these decisions that they are making that are hitting us hard. And also we are petitioning the governor on all of this bullying that he's doing with the public schools on the funding, where if we don't get that extension, that hold harmless extension for attendance for the second semester, it is going to affect a lot of the funding for the second semester.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question to you was what's going to happen with that now if that doesn't come through?
If that doesn't come through, it's going to be devastating to a lot of the school districts across the state because attendance is down, enrollment is down across the state, everywhere, because of the pandemic. So we don't know if he's just holding out to the end or just to kind of like make everybody sweat. We don't know, but we've been putting out where you can write the letter. It's pre-filled for you. Just go to our website and to Facebook, and it will send a letter to the governor. I mean, I know Erasmo hates doing anything at the state level because he says it's pointless, but some of these decisions are coming from up there at the state level, and we have to hold them accountable as well up there, not just here, we plan on holding our local school board members and elected officials accountable, but we have to do it also at the state level. It's very important. So we're hoping that extension comes through, because if not, it will be devastating to public education, and there's going to be possible layoffs and things like that if it gets to that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like that's gonna anything good that will come out of that. This is perhaps a legal question, but I mean, if it was taken to a lawsuit, isn't the district being negligent by not providing PPE, and can they be held liable by not giving enough? I mean, one can of Lysol,
Well,
the way things are going now, would last a day and a half, maybe, or maybe a couple days tops.
And see, Manny, like in my case, I'm a resource teacher. And so every 45 minutes, students are rotating into my classroom. So every 45 minutes, I'm disinfecting my classroom.
Yeah. Yeah, that can't last that long.
Let me say, guys, that unfortunately for this district, there's a culture of retaliation. And that's what a lot of staff members have experienced.
Oh, yes, and a pack of hard wipes.
So what happens is, let's say that 100 teachers, get together and say, you know what, we want to file a grievance. We want to file a class action lawsuit because we're not being provided the proper PPE. They know that ultimately they're probably going to lose that class action lawsuit. That they're going to lose the grievance. And what's going to happen is that a couple of months later on, they're going to try to apply for a higher position or a position elsewhere. And all of a sudden, they're going to be taken off the list and say, oh, well, we're hiring somebody else. And by the way, we're going to place you in a pool, and ultimately we'll see what school you're going to go to. And that's what a lot of individuals are fearing, because it happens. It happens to every single individual that wants to speak up or wants to share concerns. And again, we don't have an open door policy when it comes to anyone that has a different idea or a different concept or anything contrary to what the superintendent and his 2 Edinburgh buddies or his 5 Edinburgh buddies have to say. So again.
So Vero and Ida, if you had to take a poll, if you took a poll of all the educators, and would all of them say that they are not happy with the situation and that they do need supplies, and they are, not happy, as we've heard from a lot of people that are not?
I would say the majority would not be happy. I would say that if I sent out a text blast to all of our members and asked for a copy of receipts of PPE that has been purchased, I would tell you that we would be overwhelmed with pictures and trying to figure out what to do. It's very upsetting that, as far as I know, this is the only career that costs you to work.
Yeah.
We buy our own PPE now. We buy our own decorations for our classroom. We buy, at times, even our own ink for our printers. We buy things for our students because they don't often bring what they need to come to school. And parents, I've heard them say at Walmart, déjalos, la escuela se los da. Well, it's not the escuela, it's us. We are out there buying 24 sets of everything. And so this is, I mean, it's unfortunate that we don't get raises as often as we should, and we don't get the step the way we should, but it costs teachers more money to be a teacher than it does in any other field.
So, in other words, what Osmo was saying, that, go ahead, Isa, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I wanted, before we move on to something else, on the safety, we did file a class action grievance. So we didn't put it from a certain member. We did it from the association. So we are planning on going forward on that, on all the different violations that they are doing with lack of PPE, certain things of requiring people to report to the workplace when they're capable of working virtually and things like that. So we do have that in the works, and we plan to continue to move forward until it gets to the lawsuit level. So
I guess what I was going to ask was, if Erasmo's saying many teachers are afraid of retaliation or some kind of backlash like that, but if you had so many that were in agreement, I mean, if there was 100% participation in a lawsuit, I mean, I wouldn't worry about retaliation at that point.
So the fear would be you have to sign your name. That ultimately, Manny, is the fear. You have to sign your name.
You would be surprised of how many are fearful of that. I mean, we've gotten the most that we've ever had that are speaking up, but it's still very difficult to get them to put their name on that line and things like that. And Ed Osmo's aware of that. He's seen, how many people reach out and say it's anonymously, please don't mention my name and this and that. We have some administrators, some principals that thank us so much for what we're doing, for speaking up and advocating for the safety of all employees. But they don't want anybody to know that they're reaching out to us, or even some that are members. They don't want that to be disclosed because they're fearful of the retaliation. There's always been retaliation. I just think it's gotten at a whole other level.
It's out of control.
Since Gutierrez entered Brownsville.
But even so, if you, let's just say you would have 100% participation in this, and every single, let's just say, educator would be in on this, and I mean, that's a strong voice, and that's a strong opinion. If everybody union would unite together and say, you know what, I'm not afraid of it. You want to retaliate against me, you got to retaliate against everybody that's holding my hands right here.
Mm-hmm.
And why wouldn't, I don't know, I guess I'm saying get together and do something as a whole.
It's just fear, Manny. And this pandemic has actually made people overcome. Some people have overcome the fear and have become more vocal, have become more involved, have lost the fear of speaking out, and it's because their lives depend on it, right? And so the pandemic has actually helped in that our member engagement has increased, but there is still so much fear, Manny. There's just so much fear. Please don't say my name. Do you even have to mention my school? Please don't mention my school. Like, can you just make it a general comment? Can it just be a general? So our class action grievance is general. And because it was hard to get people to sign.
I think at Osmo, have you been up this road? At Osmo, Sean is asking, invoke your rights under the Freedom of Information Act and demand the financials.
All the time. The problem, Shonda, let me say, we have submitted so many open records requests to the district, and every single one of them gets sent to the state for an official Secretary of State, Attorney General opinion.
That takes months.
That takes months and months, especially now with the pandemic. Yep. And by the time it gets back, the matter is already gone.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
It's already done deal. What it does, it extends the time that they have in order to hide, to move, to shake, to shiver, to do anything that they need to do. And again, they do it every single time, which is their right to ask for Attorney General position. On stuff as simple, look, and I'll give you one example, Chandra. We had a work study done in, I think it's June or July, in regards to attrition and to getting rid of individuals from AOBE. It was a PowerPoint presentation at one of the meetings. That's all it was. It was a PowerPoint presentation that was presented at a public workshop. And what happens is I say, okay, I would like to have a copy of that PowerPoint presentation that AOBE presented at the workshop. Well, they sent that for an open records request, an opinion, attorney general opinion. I'm going like, guys, y'all presented it. Why would it have to go for an attorney general opinion when it was presented? And the reason that I'll tell you the reason why they sent it, because I know, again, and I'm like the FBI in that respect. When I ask for something, it's usually because I already know the answer to it. The reason that they sent it for an attorney general opinion was because they didn't give out the full scope of the report. They only gave from school on down, but they didn't give from school all the way up to Glass Palace, so that we would know that we were mega top heavy in regards to upper administration at the Glass Palace. We've got too many people out there. So if they're talking about attrition, about easing off, or doing away with certain positions, why didn't they present the positions at the top? Mm-hmm. That's what we have to ask ourselves. Why is it that it required an attorney general position? Because they didn't want the public to know how many excess jobs we have that are actually earning way over $125,000 in the upwards of $200,000 a year for not.
That's 4 teachers. It's 4 teachers.
Yep.
That's crazy.
8 paraprofessionals.
Guys, I'll get through some of these comments. Some of them, I mean, one, if there's a shortage, there were schools that were shut down. They're not doing lunches. Are they doing lunches? Are they still feeding the kids?
Yeah. So our kids are eating at campus, and then they have curbside pickup.
Federal money.
Federal money. And schools that were shut down, money was saved there.
Tons.
Where's that money at? Why can't PPE be purchased?
Exactly.
And it's unbelievable. I mean, yeah, I'd be yelling also. Like I said, could a teacher or anyone, Eddie, yes, someone who works for a district, sue the district for negligence.
Please.
You can, but then we're going back to the retaliation and fear of backlash.
I think that some people are at that point that they're willing to file a lawsuit. So yeah, Eddie, yes, please file a lawsuit and file a grievance with TEA.
And why can't TEA do an audit when the superintendent himself is corrupt? I mean, how long is TEA going to?
I filed 3 complaints as a board member. As a board member, guys.
I wonder what it would take for them to finally just say, you know what, something's wrong.
I filed 3
to go to Brownsville.
As a board member, and a year and a half ago, 3 complaints, and again they moved forward, but it's just the way the justice turns. Yeah,
we're not going to take it. That's what has to happen. There has to be a collaborative. Enough of this crap, and that has to be. Here's another one, buying things for her own classroom. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that a lot. And it's just so freaking wrong when money is somewhere, but for some reason it can't get to it.
Well, the attorneys make the bucks. I mean, look at we're still paying for attorneys to defend board members in regards to their misdoings with the Sylvia Atkinson mess. We're still paying attorneys. How does that make sense to anyone out there?
Yeah, that's not cheap either. Can't even imagine what that bill's like. The district took ages to send my transcript to my college. They're obviously not going to listen to FOI requests. It's pathetic.
Ozzy is right.
Yeah. Guys, I know it's late. We went over. I do appreciate your I got a feeling we're not done having this conversation yet.
Am I getting overtime?
I got to get you some overtime. Ladies, I do appreciate you coming by so late and extending a little bit. I know we went about a half an hour over.
Did you just call me lady?
No, I wasn't talking to you.
Yes, he was.
But yeah, I mean, more noise has to be said, and maybe one show that he does at night is not enough. Maybe I'll bring this up a little more often, but something's got to give.
Well, duh.
Ladies, we definitely would like to have you back in the future. Let's just play out a little bit and see how the rest of the school year goes.
Yeah, since they're not coming on my show anymore.
Oh,
awkward.
No, don't
it's a little one.
Violent,
We
yeah,
did
sure.
not get an invite. We did not get an invite.
Oh, don't even go there. We're gonna get into a fight.
Stop it. No fights.
I got some popcorn ready.
Communicate. That's all we got to do. Okay.
Sorry.
Vero, thank you so much for coming by. I appreciate it. And whether it's mine or Erasmo's evening show, let's start making a little bit more noise this time around. I think that's what needs to happen.
Duh.
Yeah, that would be great. And if we had community help, that would be even better.
Yeah. Well, I think Erasmo and myself put our heads together and see what kind of noise we can make on this, because this is ridiculous.
It sounds like a
But
day.
it's true. It's like that song says, you know, we have to all decide that we're not going to take it anymore. If not, this man is going to continue to do this. I put all of this on Dr. Gutierrez. And we just have to say, no, we're not going to take it. This is our district. We've been here. You just plan to come do a few years and rack up that retirement of his. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about the damage he's going to leave behind. He doesn't. So we need to decide that, you know, hey, when is enough? And we're going to start to speak up on it.
Yeah, definitely. Enough has already, that ship has sailed. We're way beyond that right now. Yeah.
And we can help you all to do that, to start speaking up on it. If you want somebody who's just going to be patting them, you know, on their back and giving them high fives, then we're not the ones for you.
Yeah. Totally agree. Nope, don't need that. We want some real action.
I'll give you some real action.
All right, we will stay here.
Not that kind of action.
Erasmo, stay here with us just for a minute. Josh and I will stay here. But ladies, you are welcome to exit the studio. I do appreciate you guys being here. And
thank you.
We'll talk to you again.
For having us.
I have a lot of cooking I need to go do for tomorrow and get things ready. So I have a full day ahead. So, but thank you for the opportunity to be here. And
I'll message y'all my numbers, and I think that y'all might have lost it.
It was on purpose too, Rathron.
I know it was like darn it. What do you mean unblock you?
Oh my goodness, unblocked.
Thank you so much, Manny.
All right, have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Ladies, have a good night.
Bye. Gringo.
Good night, Ida.
Oh, you're gringo.
Oh man, okay, that was good. That was it's he's right. Hey, I'm game for something. We got to make some kind of noise here because this is I mean, you know, you discuss it more than I do, but the once in a while that I do it a little more often, it's the same story every single time, and it's like nothing freaking is going to change.
You see, and the issue is, you know, and this is one of the things that I trip out with a lot of folks there. It's not because a lot of things people say like, well, that's what's just focused on BISD. I'm not just focused on BISD. I'm focused on all the corruption that's going on here locally, which includes city, college, port, and Cameron County. And yes, BISD guys, and we all have to care about, because it's all the root of it. We have to pull it out from the root, and the root is so deep, man, so deep that, you know, we can't sit idly by and say, hey man, I don't care about the college. And that's one thing that's very, very upsetting, because we're having city elections coming up, and 40-some thousand people voted in the city of Brownsville for this race. I want to see 45,000 people vote in the next race as well. And we're not. We're going to have 10,000, 12,000 people vote. And that's an issue. That's an issue. They're all important, guys. Everything's important.
And you know, Rasmo, you're totally right. It's just not BISD. It's every level of the government in Cameron County. Unfortunately, I personally, I'm waiting on a records request I put in with the county back this summer, and I've yet to hear from them. Yeah. And so, but the only way we're gonna get that the answers we need is we got to keep being vigilant and knocking on the door. And if they're not willing to provide the answers that they're required to under the under the public records request, then we got to go to the state level. That's just what it's about. So
well, the thing is, we cannot stop. We have to continue to hammer. We have to continue to be vocal. We have to open the eyes of more individuals out there, and I think that's one of the things that I'm very, very proud of. Look, for good or for bad, people talk smack about Erasmo Castro, and that's fine, man. People talk about smack about Erasmo.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this real quick. What percentage of these parents are Spanish speaking only?
I would say maybe 35 to 40%.
Because you get a section of the population of that since they don't understand, it's all English, and these guys are talking, there's politics. They just tune it out, and they don't care. They don't know, or they just don't care what's happening. I mean, unless it's maybe need a voice in Spanish there to be just like you, but in Spanish, or do it in Spanish too.
Well, see, the problem is, and a lot of people think, oh well, they get on and they just talk and that's all they do. Guys, it's not as easy as a lot of people think it is. It really, really isn't. And I've been trying to tell people, and a lot of the individuals, and I'll say this, a lot of individuals who hated me at first, back in like 6-7 years ago, they started to do their own pages, and they started to say, oh well, if Erasmo can do it, we can do it as well. I mean, after a couple of weeks, they said, this is too much crap. And it is, guys. It really is a lot of work. What y'all do takes a lot of work. It takes, time. You prepare, you get all these little things that you have on here that I still haven't been able to do. So, it just takes work. It takes time. You have to dedicate something to it. So it's not as easy as a lot of people think. But, and then I do 2 shows a day, and I've stopped doing them on the weekend. I do 2 shows a day, and that's 10 shows a week, guys. For me to add on a Spanish, maybe yes, it's tiring, man. It really is tiring. And the only reason I opted to start taking Saturdays and Sundays off is to give myself that little Erasmo time that I so desperately yearn for, man. And, every single time that I want to ease off on a matter, it's just like they're, and I call it, it's my Christmas. They are the gift that keeps on giving year round.
Yeah.
Really, every day they do something so stupid, so stupid. The city commission, man, you saw what the city commission did, and it's embarrassing, man. And that's one of the reasons why are naked people coming out on my Instagram, and that is that is one of the reasons, guys, why business doesn't want to come to Brownsville. And then we go back into economic development, and then we go into city monies, into county monies. We don't have economic development in the city of Brownsville because no one wants to come into a corrupt system that has no regard for its people.
I'm saying we need to recruit someone, a mini you in Spanish, who can do a show daily in Spanish.
Well, I'd love to find that person, but let me tell you, there's only one at Osmo. There could be only one.
Well, of course.
No,
what new stupid thing did the commission do this time? Oh, you haven't heard, Marty?
Oh, Marty.
Oh, where do we start on this one? Not to mention.
Well, the GBEC thing or the other thing?
No, the GBEC thing.
Okay, we'll start with the GBEC thing.
Not to mention the talk of term limits and someone who happened to have exception to that. So, Erasmo, tell me what happened with the commission and what they did with that. The EDC, all right, was it EDC?
Again, they changed.
GBEC.
It was GBEC, and now it's GBEDEC. But whatever it is, Greater Brownsville Economic Development Corporation is the new name for Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation. And what they did was they removed every single board member on there. And then they started to ask, well, let's ask the individuals in the community to apply for these positions. Well, all of a sudden, there's like 40 of us that applied to be on the GBEC board. And the city commission decided, no, you know what? just to hell with the people that have took the time to apply. We're just going to appoint ourselves. And the reason that they want to appoint themselves is because they control a $5 million budget. And it actually goes against the own charter's bylaws, which state that no more than one single commissioner can be on the GBEC board. So it was just completely wrong. And again, now the city commission is also on the GBEC board, because those 40 individuals of us that applied for the position, we just weren't good enough for the city. And a lot of individuals on there actually came on the show with me earlier today and said exactly the same thing. I mean, it was just a pony show.
Did they even talk to anybody of the 40 people?
The deadline was Monday, and then they voted on it on Tuesday. So they had no time to contact anyone, guys. And they shouldn't have to contact anyone, because then it starts to become a matter of, let me get my favorite people in there, which is what they do anyway. But at least they don't make it sound that way, which they shouldn't have. They just should have gotten people from the community to sit on a damn board. Guys, it's not an elected position. But the problem, going back into the term limits, the problem is that they had a committee go out there and recommend that it placed on election day for the citizens of Brownsville to change the number of terms that a city commissioner or mayor can serve, limited only to 2. And Jessica got upset, going like, "Oh, well, wait a minute. It's called the Jessica clause because y'all don't want me to serve another term. I've already served 3." And again, it was going back and forth, because it was all about the commissioner. It wasn't about the citizens of Brownsville. It wasn't about what was best. It was about them. But they were adamant that they want a term limits for the city commissioners. And let me say this. I'm all for term limits. We need term limits, not only in the city commission, in every single office here in Cameron County. Board, port, TSC, all of them included. With that said, what about the committees and the boards? On the committees and the boards, we still got the same people, same regurgitated people on all the committees and all the boards. The Sampayos, the Garzas, the Magallanes. It's the same people. The Mark Holansky, the Galansky, her father. Yeah. It's the same people that have been on the same boards for 20-some years. 20-some years. If you're talking about term limits, limit the years that these people could serve on these appointed positions and give new people in the city of Brownsville an opportunity to serve.
And then people wonder why things never change.
Never change. It's insanity. The definition of insanity.
I think she embarrassed herself. She looked like a damn fool yesterday.
She always does.
Complaining the way she went on about that. Totally about, oh, it's about me. It's about me.
But she always does. I mean, every other month, it's always about her. And then the other ones, it's always about them. And it's always about their pet people, man. Look at what they did to the Fronton people, man. That was just, a slap in the face to the community.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that too. That's right.
They had more than 80% of the people out at West Fronton sign a petition stating that they wanted the name back to Fronton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but that's what they wanted. Give the people what they wanted. Give the people what they wanted. No, they were adamant to name it McNair family. Guys, I don't know the McNairs, but supposedly they're part of that same rich little clique that controls everything in the city of Brownsville. Why is it always about the few, the rich, the powerful? Why isn't it about the people as a whole? I mean, we used to live in a democracy, for goodness sakes. Now we live in Brownsville, Texas.
Yep.
So, Erasmo,
go ahead, Josh.
Just for a second, going back. So, can anything be done about them violating the bylaws of GBEC?
I actually asked that today in regards to if it's possible to file a lawsuit against them. But I should have an answer. That's a great question. It's a great question because I asked it as well. And they should be telling me tomorrow if there's anything legally that can be done by the people of Brownsville. Because I'll tell you one thing. If if it is possible to file a lawsuit against the city, I will file it. I will sign my name. I do not care. So I'll find out tomorrow.
So even though he didn't, it never happened that he restricted the public comment. Or did it happen?
No.
I mean, so he never went through it. So there can still be a lawsuit. You can still.
No, we're talking about the city commission.
Oh shoot! Okay.
That's what Josh talking about. He's talking about the GBEC board taking over on the GBEC board.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's freaking insane itself right there. If nothing is happening at the state level, all this corruption at BISD should be reported to the federal government.
No, we've again, Oscar, you have to go through the phases. You have to file a complaint with TEA. Again, I filed 3 a year and a half ago. I filed 3 complaints with TEA with evidence of wrongdoing. But I'm glad that the feds are probably looking into the wrongdoings that I reported. 3 different occasions I filed a complaint with TEA. I'm still waiting to hear from them. It has not been resolved.
Yep, doesn't sound like it will be anytime soon either.
Unfortunately, probably not.
All right, we were going to get some other stuff, but it is getting kind of late. We want to talk about this just real quick for a spell while you're here too, Osmo. South Padre Island and the food trucks. I was not aware that they were having a problem with these food trucks. Apparently, the island was making it a little difficult for them to
Yes.
operate, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, what they were doing, Manny, is they were limiting the number of permits to, I believe, 12.
12
And
is what I
then
read, yeah.
part of the permit process is that the individuals who wanted to have a food truck on the island had to get the support of an existing restaurant on the island. So,
which I find insane in itself. Who's
right?
going
Because
to
why would you want to
sponsor
support
a competitor?
Yeah, unless you had a financial interest in the competitor, I guess. I mean, that would be the only way, but that was part of the reason why that one gentleman, Porky's barbecue, was having trouble getting a permit for like 3 months because he used to have a storefront in Port Isabel, but when his lease came up, he decided to go the food truck route, but then he couldn't get a permit for a while. And I think he's the one that ended up filing the lawsuit.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that got cleared up. Judge Cisneros Nelson said, "Nope, that is totally unconstitutional," and so hopefully that'll get cleared up and everybody can go on and be happy again. All right, I think we're good for the day, ladies and gentlemen who are with us. Thank you for being here, and we will talk to you again tomorrow. And Osmo, thanks for showing up, buddy. I know you're tired from your own show, but always a fun time.
Never a dull day in Brownsville City politics.
That's for sure. Good discussion we had with the ladies from AOBE.
Oh, that's where they were from.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll be in touch with you, man. If not, you can come here and join. All right, Josh, thanks a lot for being here, buddy.
No
we'll
problem.
pick up on some of this other stuff tomorrow. Oscar, Mari, Shonda, Nelly, Maggie, Ozzy, everybody who was around with us, Ita, Juan Carlos, thank you for being here, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.